Hi everyone, I'm Yorû, and this is the fourth video of my new 3D modeling tutorial, and in this part we're gonna talk about texturing. So first what you need to do is to get the UVs from your Maya model. So just open it up or still have it open, maybe go into the UV editor again. Then there you have the whole UV model or the UV model of the meshes. You might need multiple, for example, if I were to export those as well, I would do that, but I don't have to. So I'm just gonna go ahead and select everything with the face selection. Then you want to go to image and then UV snapshot. Now those are the settings that I like to use. 2048 pixel is fine for leak. You can also go down to 1024, which is like the recommended size usually. I wouldn't go above 2048 because it's just not worth it, and it's like leak just doesn't use that big of textures. And just in PNG. Then just select your export directory, name it just UV, that's what I like to do, and then just apply and close it. Now in Photoshop or whatever program you're using, it really doesn't matter as long as it can handle DDS files. I'd like to just open the original texture file, and then I'm gonna scale it up because, as I said, my UV is in 2048. And I like to work in that size. Then import the UV. Now you have to be careful with Photoshop because it likes to be a bit buggy at times. Like it does not place properly in the middle actually, which I can't tell right now, but I'm gonna figure it out. Then I can actually directly use the bottom texture, which I imported because I used that. I'm gonna scale it down by 50%. And then an easy way to get it into the proper corners without having to do anything. So you want to select everything, then go to layer, align layers to selection, and then, for example, top edges. And then again, layer, align layers to selection, and then left edges. Now you have it in the proper top left corner of your image. And now I can check if the UV is actually properly aligned, which seems to be the case here. But we'll probably see that later if it looks weird on the model. I'm also gonna apply a little black color overlay to the UV so I can actually see it. And a solid color fill layer, whatever that color is fitting. So I can also see it a bit better. So now the all Jenna stuff is on the bottom left. I'm gonna import it again. Then take my bottom left action and place it there. And do the top right for Zyra. Caitlyn is gonna be the bottom right. And then I have Ari left. Well, I actually have to scale up because I didn't scale down her UV. And now I'm just gonna make a layer mask so it doesn't overlap everything else. So yeah, just make sure that nothing's overlapping, which is of course easy if you only have a UV like I do. Then I'm gonna go ahead and save that as a DDS. And now, since I loaded the original texture in the first place, I can just override it. I already used the proper DDS settings, which are those if you are also using the NVIDIA texture tools. So now back to Maya. Now if you turn on textures again, your model still looks horrifying. So what I'm gonna do is just apply a new material to the body. As you can see, all the textures are gone again. I'm gonna copy the name of the old, and then first of all, I'm gonna again delete all unused nodes. Now you have the Lambert 2, which is your body. And I'm gonna go ahead and load in my new texture now. Now, as you can see, we are already back at exactly where we were before. Now I would just check if there's any blatant issues about the texture where you can see like edges or black stripes or whatever. But it seems to be all fine actually. So now what you're gonna have to do is just edit the textures to your liking. Now, I can't really teach you much about that. It's all just like image editing knowledge, and you have to build them yourself, basically. What I do most is like work with few saturation layers. I can show you a simple thing. For example, I want to edit her nail polish here. So I'm gonna make a hue saturation layer. Just I want to make some light bluish, like that maybe. I'm gonna invert it. Gonna take a pen tool and just paint in the layer mask or the blue nail polish. Of course, always while doing that, you can check back into the UV because, as you can see, the edges are like the texture goes over the edges, so you can, like, for example, here you can just be sloppy a bit. Just gonna say that again. Now, when you go to renderer and viewport again, you can click on reload all textures. Oh, okay, so that's interesting. She actually has 3D model nails. So I actually just got the texture underneath it instead of the nails. So I'm gonna select the nails and see where their UV is. That's also really handy, and you probably will need to do that a lot. Okay, now those weird bad looking things are her nails. So I'm just gonna go into Photoshop again, look for the UV, there it is, and just, as I said, sloppily add it to the layer mask. And now it auto-loaded actually, and as you can see, she has better nails. For some reason, still look red like this. Weird. Also, if you have trouble locating the UV, I would go to the move mode, and then you get like the tool above where UV is right now. And since it looks really messy what I colored before, I would delete the layer mask from here. Then what I'm gonna do is take the smudge tool and just smudge out the red color. Because I think it looks very sloppy with the blue underneath. I'm just gonna smudge it out. And that's way better and looks way cleaner. So yeah, now you just want to go ahead and edit the texture to your liking, to your concept, to whatever you want. And I'm going to show you, of course, the process again, but I will not be talking again unless I have something important. And yeah, see you later. So yeah, the texture is now done. I hope you guys like her so far. Now, what we're gonna do next is fix the transparency, because actually, like, mainly Jenna has transparency in her dress, which gets lost when you do that because the alpha doesn't import. So the way to fix this is to import the original file. As you can see, the alpha looks a lot like that. So everything that's not pure white is transparency, actually. Now how I do it is I just select everything by pressing down Control and clicking on the alpha layer, a color layer with the whole alpha. Then I copy that over into my texture. I need it to be on the bottom left. Needs it to, of course, perfectly align. And then I'm selecting that area. Then I go into the actual alpha layer. I need to invert it. Then I go to the square selection tool and I select this one, the intersect. And then I just draw around this area. This is in order to not mess with the other things. And then on the alpha layer, I just paint with black. And that should already be it, because I don't think the other areas have an alpha. So let's just save that one, and as you can see, the export preview looks a lot different. And yeah, as you can see, for example, oh, this one didn't quite work out. Transparent again. So I guess the didn't completely line up after all. So I need to fix the placement on that, but that's roughly how you do it. I'm just gonna go ahead and quickly fix that. So next thing what we're gonna do is do an optional step, which I do for all of my models, however, because it just improves the textures a lot, which is using Waifu tags. There are a bunch of different versions you can use. There's an online, like just a website, there's a simple program, but I prefer using the rather, I guess, most complicated problem, which is the Waifu 2X extension GUI, which I'm just gonna open up here. So first you will need to just export your file as a PNG. Does not have to have like transparency or anything, which I already did. Then this is the extension GUI with my settings, which is just scale ratio 1 because I don't want to scale it. Denoise level, you can denoise it up to 3 instances. I'm just gonna try 2 first of all. Then the image style is 2D anime. And yeah, that's about it. Then just import your texture. Then I'm just gonna press start. And there we already go. Oh, never mind, it's still running. Or is it? Now it's finished. Okay. Now, as you can see, it should have smoothed out a lot of the like pixelation, but I'm quite happy. I'm actually gonna try with 3 now. Because it just improves like artifacts and everything. So yeah, you can see that's already a lot smoothed out. So now I'm just gonna import it into Photoshop. So we can also get a direct comparison. I hope this even shows on video, but it makes a huge difference. Now I'm just gonna also export it as a DDS again, so I can check it out in Maya. Which also there makes a difference in the way it looks. So yeah, now that's your improved texture. And now as an absolute last step, I'm gonna be exporting 2x and 4x files. Those are meant to work with lower texture quality settings in League of Legends. So if you have, for example, on medium or on low, you use a different texture than on high. It's a requirement to post it sometimes. For example, on killer skins, it definitely is. You have to have those files enabled, otherwise your mod won't be posted. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I also have an action for that, which basically just scales down the image and saves, scales down the image again and saves. Because everything that is 2x and 4x is just scaled down versions of the image. So first of all, I'm just gonna save the normal one again. Then Photoshop just closed. We wanna just scale down the image size by half, which for me is from 2048 down to 1024. And that you save with the prefix 2x. And then you just do the same thing again. Now it's down from 2024 to 1024 to 512. And this time with the prefix 4x. I'm just gonna undo twice so I get my big size again. Save, so my PSD file is saved. Now, as you can see, I have all of the 3 files. You will notice that also all of the original champions come with that, because Riot, of course, has the textures for that. And yeah, that's it for the texturing tutorial video. I hope this kind of helped. Like, it didn't show too much, but there's just trial and error and getting used to Photoshop or whatever program you're using. And yeah, so then see you in the next video, which is going to be the last video, where we're gonna actually finish the model and get it in-game. So see you then. Bye!